Hi, I'm Mr. Cox, and I welcome you to Geometry or Geometry Honors, depending on which class you signed up for. Even though both classes have a little different material, Honors will move a little faster and cover more material. They both have the same basic rules. So let's start off with what you're probably most interested in is what do I need to do to pass? So let's look at grading percentages, okay? So when we look at this, here's how your grades are based. Tests are 70%, quizzes are 20, and what I call skills, which is homework and classwork, is 10%. This is big. Test being 70%, that means you cannot really afford to mess up on a test. That's going to really be there and be bad for you. So you've got to do well on tests. That means don't wait to the day before test to come in for extra help. Get extra help as much as you can. Okay. Testing policy, we schedule tests in advance, okay? In fact, I've got tests for the entire month of September already planned out. So you can check those calendar in the back of the room. You probably saw it behind me. There's calendars on my website, which I'll show you a little later, but you'll know when tests are. If you're absent the day before the test, you still have to take the test. You knew it was coming. Just being out one day beforehand doesn't mean anything. Okay, if you were absent for like 4 days, different story. But just one day beforehand, no. So be prepared to take the test. Okay, we've been preparing the entire unit, not just in one day. I do have a test makeup policy. Okay, if you fail a test, and that means you score below a 65, you can make improvements to get your score up to 65. You can't go any higher, but there are certain things that have to happen. Has to be done after school with me. You cannot take this home and do it with your tutor and come back because I haven't seen that you understand. I don't know that your tutor just didn't go, oh, here's what you did wrong. And you went, I want you to tell me what you did wrong. Okay. And we do this within 5 days of me returning the test. Okay. So if I return it on Wednesday, you get 5 class days before this is done with. You got to correct every mistake that you made. If you left a problem blank, you've got to correct those. Now, if you correct those, you don't get half points for that because your mistake was not doing it, and that's an unforgivable mistake. You need to try every problem. But anything you got wrong, we'll correct it. We'll give you half credit back on those. And you've got to correct everything, even though you can only get up to a 65. You still need to correct all your mistakes. If you missed the original test date, if you were absent the day of the test, you got 5 days to make it up to be able to take advantage of the policy. Okay. If you wait 3 weeks to make up your test and you fail the test, you do not get a chance to use this policy because you waited way too long. This is to make you make things up in a pretty good manner. Okay. This is only for tests. It is not for quizzes or other graded assignment, only for tests. That's 70% problem. This is a privilege, okay? If you are abusing this, I had a student one year that actually just wrote down random numbers, and on his way out, I heard him go, oh yeah, I'll just make it up and get a 65. I would not allow him because that's an abuse of this. This is a privilege. Plus, you don't want to get only a 65. You want to do the best you can on all cases, okay? So that's the big thing about testing, which is the biggest thing that we have in our class. So, by the way, behind me, you can see over the shoulder, there's our calendar. It's in the back of the room, has things listed on there all the time. Some other places that you might go to see that calendar. Let's look at my website. My website can be accessed through the school district website, and this is what it looks like. If you go up to courses, if you're in honors or regular geometry, I'll play with honors today. You can go to honors, and it brings you to a new page. And on this page, one of the first things that comes up is a calendar, and it's going to have all the events. We're in August is when I'm recording. So if I go to September and it loads that up, you can see we've got things planned already in September. Okay. Nice thing to get to, a remind. This allows me to send you messages. Hey, remember, we got a test coming up tomorrow. Or, hey, you know what? I'm postponing this test for another day. So, hey, there's snow, so I'm putting this test off. This is good to have. Parents, you can sign up for it too. Okay, so if you click on this is for the honors class, by the way. For regular geometry, you can do the same thing through the regular geometry tab. And this will take you to a place where you can sign up for this. Now, it might bring me to mine because I'm signed up, but it gives you all the directions of how to sign up for this, okay? I'm going to close this out because it seems to be slow. Yeah, it is set up for me right now. But it'll tell you how to sign up for Remind, okay? So that's that. That's the website, something nice to look at. And again, parents, you want to sign up for that. Other things on the website, policies that I'll show you in class, honors, I've got an outline, although I think I might change that this year. My schedule is on the website, so you can see where I am during the day. Okay, that's where I am. So, hey, you got to make something up, you'll know where I am. Am I in the cafeteria? Am I in my classroom? Am I planning period or my lunch? Which, by the way, normally if you let me know you're coming those times, I'll be in my room. Okay, and then some links to different websites. Okay, and these are just fun little things to look at. Okay, so that's my website. It's just an information. We're going to be using Google Classroom more than anything. So the test is very important because we only have 3 to 4 tests in a quarter. So it's really important that you do as well as you can on those tests. The test is your chance to show me what you have learned. The test is not let's see where you made your mistakes. No, the test is let me see what you know. Homework is where I expect you to make mistakes. Even a quiz every now and again, you might make mistakes. That's why quizzes aren't worth as much. But the test is, okay, we're finished. What do you know? So make sure you do well on those. We'll have quizzes during a unit, especially if it's a long unit. I'll put a quiz in the middle somewhere. Homework and classwork every single night. And it'll either be a written homework. In fact, for the first week or so, it's probably going to be a written homework. Sometimes it'll be a digital homework, which means you may have to go home and watch a video for an intro and then answer some questions. Got to have those done because I check those first period. Okay, it allows me to come into class and go, hey, it looks like most of you had a problem with this question. Let's go over that. Okay, when going over homework, I expect you to come in with questions. Okay, if you don't have questions, I know one of two things has happened. Either one, you did it, you checked it, you completely understand not just what the right answers are, but how those right answers are gotten and where you may have made mistakes. Completely, could do it in your sleep, give me a test now. Or 2, you didn't do it. If you didn't do it, well, you've pretty much told me, it's all right, I'm cool, I don't need to pass, I'm fine. Okay, so you have to do your homework. Okay, like I said, homework is digital sometimes. Where will it be found? It'll be found on Google Classroom. Often you'll be able to go to Classroom. We'll do a lot of stuff in class through Google Classroom. We'll do a lot of stuff at home through Google Classroom. And you'll have these Chromebooks, so you'll be able to, mine's being slow today, but you can go to your classroom. I'll choose period 7 for this. And it'll have stuff in this stream of what's going on. Okay, so that's what's going on with Google Classroom and how we use that. If you miss work, this is important, make it up quickly. The nice thing about Google Classroom, when you miss things, I'm going to have a lot of stuff there. Homework answers. I give you a homework worksheet. I post the answers up before I leave for the day, okay? Because then you can check your own work. I'm not going over every single homework problem in class. That takes too long. And why go over a homework problem that most people got? Okay, you missed one homework. Do you want to miss one homework problem? Do you want to sit there and listen to me go over every single problem? No. Do your homework, go in and check the answers. If you got something wrong, see if you can find your mistake. You'll learn more finding your own mistakes than you will when I show you your mistakes. So often, I've had times which I'm doing a problem in class and someone goes, hey, I see my mistake. I copied the problem wrong. It's like, well, then you didn't check your answers because you would have noticed that immediately if you had. So check your answers. Check your answers after doing the work. Don't have the answers up while you're doing the work. Try it. Go back and look at it. Okay. Ask questions the next day. I usually start every class with a do now. And then right after we're done with the do now, next thing I say is, are there any questions on the homework? If you've got a question, ask it. Circle it in red on your paper or something and say, hey, look, I had this problem. I did it. I checked the answer. I can't figure out what I did wrong. Could you explain it? And that's what I'm here for. Okay. Tools for success. There's a few things you're going to need to be successful in this class. Okay. Most of these I have in class. Okay. For example, a calculator. Now, these are TI Inspires. It's what we use in class. You don't necessarily need one of these. You can be perfectly fine with, if some of you might have 84s or something like that from years ago, that's fine. I use these in class. If you have your own one of these, feel free to use it. But honestly, I wouldn't bring it back and forth to school every day unless you really want to. I'm a calculator nerd, so I kind of like having my own. I have my own in class. But these, if you want to use them in class, that's fine. Okay, I have one assigned to every student. The other thing that we're going to be using quite a bit in class is this, a compass. Now, if you've taken earth science, you've probably used this type of compass before, but we use them pretty heavily in class. I highly suggest you get a compass, get one of these for home. Usually one of the classes, one of the seniors or juniors usually sells these, so like $3 or something. You can't buy them anywhere else. I buy them in packs of 30, so that's the only way to get them. I suggest you get one of these so you get used to it. A lot of students really like these. I have them to use in class. In fact, back here on that yellow board, that's a whole bunch of compasses there. So I've got these in class. You don't have to have one at home and bring it to school every day. Use mine when you're in school. Use yours when you're at home. If you don't like this kind, maybe you want the kind that you worked with when you were younger. Okay, these are perfectly good compasses, so you could use these. Maybe you want something even more exciting. This is the professional style compass. Okay, they're all the same thing. Okay, in fact, I've even gone as far as use a piece of string and a pencil. Okay, it doesn't matter, but you want a compass because the work we do with drafting, we want to be as accurate as possible. So get some sort of compass to using at home. Again, leave it at home. You can use mine when you're in school, but you need these in class, okay? Other tools you're going to want to have, well, of course, you're going to want a pen or pencil. I do everything in pen, but that's not often advisable. I suggest do a lot of work in pencil because you're going to make mistakes and it's easier to erase them. You might even want to bring a separate eraser. I'm big on highlighters. I love highlighters, colored pencils. I've got a little box. If you look, there's a little pink thing at the bottom of the screen here. That's a box of colored pencils. Do notice I have some pencils and pens back here. Anything that's over that area behind me there, that's stuff that you can use. There's a pencil sharpener, there's a stapler, hole punch, all that's in here because I want you to have that available, okay? So that's pretty easy for stuff like that, but make sure you get those things. A notebook, okay? Whether you want just a basic notebook, I give a lot of handouts, so I highly suggest the 3-ring binder. But some people are like, you know what? I'm good with a spiral notebook and a folder. Whatever way works for you to be organized and successful. Okay, if you miss work, we talked about making it up. Last thing I need to go over. This one's important, and it's new for this class this year. Cell phone policy. I've had major issues with cell phones over the past few years, so I'm done with it. From now on, when you come into class, there's going to be a thing. In fact, you can just barely see it right there at the corner, right over here. You can see there's a bunch of pockets with little white things in them. That's where you're going to put your cell phone, okay? And in there's a card that tells you which number computer is yours. If you don't have your own Chromebook on you, you can use one of mine. I've got some in the classroom. Which compass number is yours? So you use the same one all the time. Which calculator number is yours? So you use the same one all the time, okay? And that'll be for all year long. That way, if it gets messed up, you're not to blame. Or if you mess it up, let me know. I can usually fix it. Don't be afraid, okay? But in fact, the compasses, they wear out after a while. So sometimes if it's like, hey, it's not sticking, let me know, okay? If there's something, if you grab a calculator and there's something written on there, you go, hey, I didn't do this. And I can look at it and go, okay, certain people use that calculator. That's why it's important that you only use yours so you don't get blamed for anything. Okay? So that's what we're doing. The class is not a very difficult class. It's pretty straightforward. Go through some basic things that I think are key to passing any class anywhere. So real quickly, here we go. Be on time. Okay, we do nows, so be on time. Otherwise, I got to make phone calls home, and I'll give this out to you and post it on the website. Be prepared, have your tools in class, come in, be ready when the bell rings to get to work. Do your homework every day, okay? Always do your work. Some quarters are going to have more homework than others, so it's important. It's your responsibility, and that's important. It is your responsibility to make things up. I'm not chasing you down. Don't wait 4 days to go, oh, can I make up this homework? Don't wait till after a test and go, my grades are low. Can I make up a homework? No, it's too late by then. Pay attention and participate. Math is not a spectator sport, so you have to participate. Ask me questions, okay? Listen to your classmates. Sometimes the question they're asking is a good question. Sometimes you may think, oh, it's a silly question, but it makes me think of something that's important, so you got to listen to what's being said. Sometimes your classmates come up with really good ideas of doing things that I didn't even think of. That happens all the time. Make up your work, okay? Don't wait to make work up. We move quickly, and if you get behind on work, you're going to see it in your grades, okay? It's going to show up because you're not going to be ready for the test, okay? Or you're not going to understand a lesson because you were 2 lessons behind already, okay? And have your home supplies. Compass, straight edge. Again, these are at home. Your compass, straight edge, and calculator, leave those at home. Don't bring them back and forth. You're going to lose them or get them broken or stolen or something like that. You follow that, you'll be fine. I'm after school every day except Fridays unless I have a meeting. Come in if you need help. Stay with me immediately, okay? Don't wait till the day before the test. I look forward to a really good year and seeing how this works out for us. So I tell you what, real quickly, let's look at what a typical start of class would look like.
So what's a typical day in Mr. Cox's class look like? Well, the bell's gonna ring, so let's get to class. So we get out on the hallway and we're just heading into our class like normal, and now we're walking into the classroom. Now the first thing I'm gonna do when I get into the classroom is I'm gonna go to this thing right here. This is where we drop off our cell phones. So I'm gonna drop my cell phone in there. There's my phone, number 3, and now I'm good to go. Now number 3 is good because that tells me, hey, while I'm at it, let me get my calculator. So I come to my bin of calculators here. I'm getting number 3, and I'm ready to go to my seat. Now we're gonna get ready to get stuff done. Ooh, hey, notice on the board, there's a do now. So I know that I'm gonna probably need my computer. So I'm gonna sit down, and I'm gonna pull out my computer.
So now that I'm in class and I'm seated, I'm all ready to go. I've got my laptop so I can do my do now. I've got my calculator so I can do any calculations I need, and other tools that I like to bring out immediately. Pen, pencil. Why both? Because sometimes I need to do graphs. I like to do my graphs in pencil, or even when I'm taking notes, because you make mistakes as you take notes. I like to try to beat the teacher at the problem that he's doing. So if I make a mistake, at least I can correct it. Or if you've got a pen and you make a mistake, just put a line through it. That way you can later see your mistake and go, hey, that's right. I shouldn't do that. Also, maybe have some highlighters on hand. You don't need to have them out, but sometimes you might be like, you know what? There's some important concepts. I want to highlight those. If you don't like highlighters, I got colored pencils. I keep those in a box in the back of the room. So if you want those, you can use those too. Other things I've got, while I'm sitting down, I'm pulling out my homework. Because last night I checked my answers, and I understood a lot of my mistakes, but there were a couple questions that, I need some explanation on. So I've got my homework out so that when the teacher asks me, hey, are there any questions in homework? I got a couple I got for them. So I'm going to get to my do now. We're going to go over some homework questions, and then it's time for today's lesson. From there, anything else can happen. I got to make sure I'm focused. So I'm going to leave you now because I got to make sure I'm focused. I can't miss anything. This class moves fast, so if I'm talking to you, I'm going to miss a lesson. See you later.